and to issues about purity and cleanliness. Whereas on the other hand, the acts that Americans view as wrong, we would view them on the grounds are imperative. Obviously, they clearly are impure out, and you can't have different children getting. So there's clearly a disjunction between weird countries and non-weird countries. And if we consider them, and we're just looking at our own country, morality of our own country, we're missing out. That's the point. We're missing out on the entire universe of potential behaviors that are immoral. We're missing out on a bunch of behaviors that could be viewed as immoral. So Hayek and others who study moral psychology point out that various cultural moralities can rise related to like quote unquote less taboos. There are cultural taboos that don't have necessarily a clear harm action. Harmless taboos. That seems to be where the differences between Americans and Indians seems to emerge. People sometimes still view certain behaviors as immoral, even when there is no harm involved. That's also true not just in India. It's also true here. Some behaviors are just wrong, and it's really hard to rationalize. Sometimes we try them. Sometimes we try. And so what we do, if you do kind of like experiments like this, where you ask people to rationalize their intuitive, like why is that's why in this thing. What will sometimes happen is that American responses will simply rationalize and create some sort of different ways. We create victims when there are no victims. You have this sense that we need to make harm when there is no harm. Isn't that? We try to find victims, we try to find the harm, we try to find the injury, because that's our moral vocabulary. It's so limited by the fact that we live in a weird society. Our moral vocabulary is just limited. We're sort of like morally deficient. Have a culture because we don't have the vocabulary, the cultural vocabulary. Talk about behaviors as morally wrong that don't do harm. They're wrong, but they don't do harm. But these are simply closed block justifications. They occur after the fact, and rationality is happening. The intuitive moral sense is taken. Moral decision already occurs, and these rational evaluations are simply those to sort of connect a behavior that we view as morally wrong to ideas of harm and fairness. So that's why at the top here it says beyond harm and fairness. We tend not to think about things beyond harm and fairness, but in non-weird cultures, they do. So, not only is morality intuitive and emotional, but it's also, and that rationality comes after the fact, but it's also multi-dimensional. You can start a whole conversation about this. Morality is also multi-dimensional, not just harm and fairness and other stuff. And so I'm going to let Jonathan Knight talk about it because he did a better job. I don't want the full 80 minutes to do. Well, the two lads and travel together. They go to the psychoanalyst data, and they find that they have the basis of both creativity. First of all, we'll call Adam. It's transfixed by the beauty of the court human form. Second guy, we'll call him Bill, is transfixed by embarrassment and staring at the thing there in the center. So here's my question for you. Which of these two guys is more likely to vote for George Bush, which for Al Gore? I'm going to show a hand because we all have the same political stereotypes. We all know in this case, the things I correspond to reality. It really is that liberals are much higher than conservatives on nature personality trait, while openness to people who are high on openness to experience just crave novelty, variety, diversity, new ideas, travel. People low on like things that are familiar, or like safe and dependable. If you know that trait, you can understand a lot of human behavior. You can understand why artists are so different from accountants. You can actually predict what kind of books they like to read, what kind of places they like to travel to, how the food looks. What's your this trait? Understand what people will eat a couple of these. What did you This trait also tells us a lot about politics. The main researcher of this trait, Robert McCrae, says that open individuals, affinity for liberal, progressive, left-wing political views, they let society to open and changing. Whereas closed individuals are conservative, traditional, right-wing. This trait also tells us a lot about undiversity. So here's a description of a group I've done on the head. People who join a local community of welcoming people celebrate visits and culture who seek a deeper understanding of the world and will look to turn that understanding into a better picture for us all from some guidance. Well, let's see now. If it predicts who becomes liberal, and if it predicts who becomes tenster, then might have predicted most testers all. Let's find out. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. Do you belong on the center on socialist? I'll conservative. I'll give third options. I know the number of the libertarians. Now, please raise your hand. That's reference to the letter we see here. Please raise your hand if you would say more in the center. Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you say you're libertarian. She doesn't. And please raise your hand if you say you're right or conservative. 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 8 or 10. Okay. This is a problem. Because if our goal is to understand the world, seek understanding the world, our general lack of moral diversity here is going to make it. Because when people all share values, share, they become their teams, and you engage psychology with teams, it shuts down. When the team loses, as it did in 2004, and as it almost did in 2000, we comfort ourselves. We try to explain why African American voting for a team we think it is blinded by religion or by simple stupidity. So if you think that half of America votes Republican because they are blinded in this way, then my message to you is that you're trapped in a moral, in particular moral matrix. By matrix, I mean literally matrix like a movie matrix. But when this is it, to give you a choice, you can either take the blue pill, get your comforting conclusion, or you can take the red pill, learn some moral psychology, and step outside of it. And because I know from the beginning, what is more about where the worst idea of all of psychology is that it is a mind of blank slate. Development of how the gentlemen who comes the world already know so much about physical and social programmed to make it easy for them to learn circuits and hard to learn. Its definition of intellectual overseas so many things from the brain scientist Gary Marcus. He said, the initial organization of the brain does not depend that much on experience. Nature provides the first draft, which experience then revises. Building doesn't mean unethical. It means not being advanced. Okay, so I'm a very good at it. To find out, my colleague Craig Joseph and I actually really tried. She knows for variation morale, also on engineering psychology. What are the sorts of things people talk about across disciplines and find across culture, even across species? We found methods which we call the five foundations of moral health. The first one is harm care. We're all levels here. We all have a lot of neural programming. Reading for others, care for others, feel compassion for others, especially when we're vulnerable. It's very strong feelings. Those who cause harm. This whole foundation is like 70% of the world's data set for here at Tail. The second foundation is fairness reciprocity. There's actually continuous evidence as to whether we find reciprocity in other animals. The evidence for people could not be clear. There's no multiple paintings for all the golden rule. You heard from John Armstrong, of course, foundation. So religions, that second foundation underlies human purpose. The foundation is in the Lord, you find groups. In the end, you do find power in groups. These groups are all kind of events. You find very groups of people ready to cooperate, join together into groups. In this case, groups that are willing to fight for groups. A long history of tribal living, tribal psychology, and this tribal psychology is so influential. Even when we don't have tribes, we can go up and get it because it's fun. Um, Sports is to war as pornography is to exercise ancient tribes. The fourth foundation of authority respect here uses of these gestures, which remains very close to the species. But authority in humans is not so based on power and brutality as it is in other primates. It's based on more voluntary judgments, even elements of love. The foundation is purity sanctity. This painting is called the allegory of chastity, but purity is not just about suppressing female sexuality. It's about any kind of ideology, any kind of idea tells you that you can achieve virtue, control what you do with your body, by controlling what you put into your body, while political, moralized, more. Political evidence really don't want to put extremely moralized. Now, it's a lot of ideas about pure, what you want to touch or into your body. I believe these are the five best candidates for what's written on the first draft. I think this is what we come to, is preparedness to learn all these. But the free sun math grows up in liberal English terms. How is this first draft going to get revised? And how is it being different from a kid born 60 miles south of us in the church? Think of the total variations of this level. Different systems and works is not. Find sources of intuition and emotion. We can think of them all on as being like one of those little reflex like five channels that we set it to a different stand on the channel. My colleague Brian knows it and Jesse Brandon how. No question here. I was on the level. 30,000 people. So you can take these questions and here are the results. It's all about 23,000. How would follow this course on the right coast of conservative and moderates. The blue line shows you people's responses on the average moral harm section. You see, people care about harm and care issues. They get high endorsement of these sort of statements all across the board. You also see liberals care about the movement from conservatives, the line goes down, same story for parenting. But look at the other three lines. So it's a little very low. So they can say, no, this is not moral. Anyone with authority to that can be more conservative, well modeled. We can say the look the two channel, which will be morality, conservative somewhere by which like we find this every country we look at. Native 11 Canadians, all the for Yugoslav, the UK, New Zealand, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, the East Asia, and South Asia. So the slope is steep on equilibrium purity, which shows that within any country, the disagreement is still on everybody. We can make words. We will have on that more requirements to be involved, but that's what that is being required. You watch the rest of the video if you want. I recommend. Mostly wanted to introduce IML. We need and you're really awesome. These are great for exam purposes. These are kind of things that go to ask them. Not least because it is descriptive and you can combine multiple types together to understand your own role. I actually highly recommend everything you can do free to find out like it's still like this was you have like sort of want to you can still go to that same web address and you can do your own moral evaluation list. Some of the items that I presented at the beginning of the class from that assessment. Okay, so you can go each one of the five separately. The table here is mostly for your own studying. We can discuss what each of these five mean. If you already kind of get We're going to talk about them in a little bit more detail. The first one is care/harm. First moral foundation is care/harm. It's possibly